All right, go ahead and put your name in the chat for me. All right, the first thing that we're going to do for our ICA today is we need to set up your Meta account. So I've placed a link to a video in the chat. So go ahead and pull that up on your own so that you can look at it really quickly. It's a really quick video. Then you're going to go either, depending on your device, you're going to go to the Apple Store or the Google Store, and we're going to start to set up your Meta account. Now, if you have something like Facebook or Instagram, you probably already have a Meta account. However, we need for you to create another profile, and that profile needs to be linked to your ANU email. All right, so go ahead and watch the video really quickly. All right, once you're done watching the video, go ahead and either go to your Apple Store or your Google Store. Download the Meta app. All right, if you just joined in, we're currently watching a video of how to set up a Meta account. We're going to make a new Meta account or Meta profile that is attached to your ANU school email. So here's the video again.
The app that we are downloading, is it the one that says Meta Horizon?
Yes, I believe so. Let me look at my phone. Yep. Meta Horizon. It looks like a circle that's split in half.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. And let me see. So again, if you have Facebook or you have Instagram, you already have a Meta account, but we have to create a new profile that is attached to your ANU email address. So let's see if I can remember how to do it. We don't want to create another account. Let's see. You need to find your account center. See.
Um, I'm in the account center. I went to I'm under manage accounts and it says add accounts. But when I click add accounts, it only gives me an option to add Facebook account or add Instagram account.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
See. Okay, account center, profiles, account center profiles. All right, account center profiles. And I think you click add, and at the bottom it should say create new account. Let me see. Accounts center profiles. Create new accounts, and it's gonna be sign up with email.
I'm sorry, where can I find new accounts?
Did you find the account center?
Yes, I found the account center
All right.
and
And do you see profiles?
no, it just says add Facebook account, add Instagram account, password and security, connected experiences, MetaPay, your information and permissions, manage accounts.
Try manage accounts.
I click manage accounts, then I do see where it says add accounts. But when
Okay.
I
Hit.
click that,
Mm-hmm.
it only gives you an option to add Facebook account or add Instagram account.
So on the bottom, it doesn't say create new account.
No.
Your menu is what type of phone do you have?
iPhone. Can you see my screen? Might be too bright.
It's
Uh,
completely white. Hold on one second. All
mhm.
right. So let me go back because there's a couple ways to do it, but let's see. Let me go back. So are you under settings and privacy and it says account center?
All right. Okay. I'm under privacy settings. And from there, I will go to
Click on click on where it says profiles.
profile status.
Mine says profiles, and of course I have more than one account, so it has a number by it, but it has like two pictures beside it of the profiles.
Yeah, mine says profile status.
Profile status.
And then under profile status, it says account privacy. Then there's account active status. And
So nothing that says add accounts there.
no,
Okay, hold on.
and that's under privacy settings.
Let's see where you. So when I click add accounts, it asks username, password, login, forgot password, and underneath it says create new account for me.
Hmm.
Has anyone been successful so far?
Yeah, it's letting me do it.
Yes. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. For
Okay.
those that have been successful and are able to go ahead and do it with their ANU email address, once you get it done, once it say your account is successful, um, I feel like it sends you an email. But in any case, I need a picture of that account along with the fact that it's attached to your ANU email address. I need that picture uploaded to your ICA. All right. All right, so let's go back. So for those that, okay, so we've downloaded Meta Horizon. Let me just go out of here altogether.
So when it let me create account, it didn't even ask for an email. It asked for just a username and a password.
We don't want to do that because it might be attached to your, like your Facebook or your Instagram.
Okay, so
So
you
it
want
has,
a new account?
yep, it has to be a new account and it has to be created with your email address. All
Okay.
right, so I'm going to go back into Meta Horizon. Let's see. If we don't do it right, we're going to have a problem. I think you all should have received an email from um, virtual medical coaching. It might be in your spam, but once you get your Oculus, you're going to need this Meta Horizon account to work with the Oculus. All right, so I'm opening up my Meta Horizon, and the first thing I see is like a bunch of games or whatever. So for me, I'm gonna, I think, look at the bottom and click on the picture. Wait, picture. All right, for me, the three like Adidas stripes at the top or the hamburger at the top. When I click on the hamburger at the top, I see menu, devices, library, gallery, blah, blah, blah. And then the next section is settings and privacy. And that is where I'm going to click on account center. Does everyone see that? Okay. So when I click on my account center, at the very top, there's something for me that says profiles. Does everyone have that?
No. You
So
think it would help me if
Yeah.
my daughter, she has a VR account and I'm like signed into that? You think I should sign out and maybe it will prompt me to make a
Um,
new?
you need to sign out of that. If your daughter has an account, that's going to be a problem for you because if it's under 18, if the account is under 18, the app that you need to get, you're not going to be able to do it. That's why you have to create a whole new profile with your ANU address.
Right. So maybe
And I only know because I had the same issue. The Meta account was linked to a kid that was under 18, so therefore I couldn't get the information that we need. So that's why we're trying to link your account to your ANU profile.
okay. So I logged out and now, my profiles are popping up and it is letting me, now I have an option to create new account.
Okay. All right. So add account. And when you push continue, it should say username, password, login, forgot, and underneath that, create new account. Do you see that?
Yeah. Once I click create new account, it's asking me for my birthday.
All right. Any birthday that makes you 18 or older.
Oh, it's not even actually let me change.
But mine says sign up with my email. Then it asks for the email account. Let's see if I have another one that I can use.
Yeah, it's not even letting me change the birthday.
You are gonna have to hold on.
Okay. All right. So I just click login. It says login or create a Meta account. I'm gonna try from here. I'm gonna use my ages. Mhm.
To change the birthday. God, how to change the birthday? I think I had to go to personal details and then edit. And personal details is in your account settings.
If that doesn't work, try it on your phone try it on your laptop because it was giving me a hard time too when I was doing it on my phone.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me check the status so far.
All right. Let me try it on.
So, so far, let's see, Zainab. All right, I'm gonna put the first grade into the ones that I have received. We've got two more things that we have to do. So far, Deanna and Zainab. have been successful. Wait a second, let me go in my chat. I got my, I did receive a comfort. I did receive, so Amber, you received a confirmation email. Um, okay, Amber, you can either take a screenshot of your profile on your phone, or you can take a screenshot of the confirmation email, but I need to see that it was tagged to your ANU account.
Okay, where do you want me to send that to?
It's gonna go to your ICA number 2.
Okay.
Get to
Am I sending you a picture of like the personal details where it's showing like the email I signed up with?
That's what I'm interested in.
Okay.
All right. And then everyone also should have typed their name in the chat. If I saw your name in the chat, think I've placed the note in your file in the ICA that says present, but I'm still also Tia Holly. I'm still also waiting on Tia Holly. Who needs additional instruction? Where are we stuck at?
Just to confirm, you said I can take the screenshot from my phone and put it in there of the confirmation from the email?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And you're just seeing a grade of 30, 33 because there's 3 parts of the assignment tonight. Brittany. All right, for those of you that got the confirmation, make sure that you finish with the next portion so that it actually goes through.
I'm sorry, but can you explain how to upload that one more time for me? I'm sorry.
Just like take a picture or screenshot
Okay.
and upload it just like you do like your regular assignments.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just verifying that you received mine,
Who's talking?
Amber Hall.
Everyone that I've received so far, I believe, let me refresh one more time. You should have a grade of 33 so far. Amber, let me see. All right. Right. So Zainab, get to Ashley, Brittany, Amber, Lashika, Bridget, Tia, Jaya, Sashka, Sash. Tell me how you pronounce your name one more time. Saskia.
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 Yeah, the J is
Sas-
like an I.
okay.
Saskia.
Saskia, Diana, Deasia, and that is all I have at the moment. All right, so keep working on it if you still owe it to me. All right, the next thing that we're going to do tonight is let me check some of you what I need to do. what I need for you to do is turn off your camera for me. All right, when you turn off your camera, so I'm going to turn mine off so you guys can see as well. Um, sorry. All right, when you turn off your camera, I would like to see a photo of you. So you might need to log into your Zoom to do it, but for me, I have 3 dots at the top of my photo. They're hidden until I actually go to the top of my photo. And there I can put edit profile picture. And I would like for you to add a picture of yourself there. So Holly, you would have to, so right now I don't have any pictures, Holly. You would have to
Okay.
turn your camera off or video off. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Sorry.
and again, if you're logged in, you should be able to go to the top of your little picture and it says mute or it says 3 dots. And I need for you to edit your profile picture. If you're not able to see it there or in your menu, you may need to actually log in to your Zoom account. All right, once you have edited your profile picture, I need for you to go back to the ICA and put Zoom profile picture updated. Have one update.
I'm having trouble adding my profile picture. It's not giving me the option.
Okay. So let's see how you can do this. You may need to log into Zoom. See, how do you log into Zoom? All right, can you go to Zoom Workplace and log in?
Should I create an account with my student email or just my personal email?
Student email. Your Zoom account?
Yes.
You should have one already attached to your student email, but attach it to your student email.
Okay.
Miss Ashford, any advice? How were you able to get yours done so quickly?
Did you say Ashley?
Miss Ashford
Oh, sorry.
Zainab. No, you're good.
Yes. I have the app on my computer, so I just went to the app and just created a login. I used my student email address, and then I just went to profile afterwards and just hit on the circle with the, I think it's like on top of your username, and you just hit edit and just add your picture.
I think initially your circle might have something like your initials in it or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, Karen's good. All right, Bridget, I see just the letter B, so I feel like you're in the right place, but you just need to add a photo of yourself.
I added it several times, but when I go back, I don't see it, and I'm not sure if you can see it.
Who's talking? Bridget?
Ashley Valentine.
Bridget's good. Let's see, Ashley. Let's see. Ashley, all I have is a blank screen.
It's still blank. Okay. Because when I hit change picture, I can see the picture, but I don't see it when I hit save.
Maybe it'll take a second to get there because I don't even see your name or initials anymore.
Oh, should I leave and come back? Will that update it?
You can try that.
Okay.
All right, Tia, Karen. And now let me update these real quick. Tia, Karen, Zainab. Six. All right, Karen, I do see your Zoom profile, but I don't think I see I see your Zoom profile photo, but I don't see the other one that we talked about earlier, the Meta account. And Amber.
I got a
Travis.
reply saying present and let me see. Do you want me to just try to re-upload it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right, Jasmine, I got your photo. Tia. Amber. Asia, Bridget.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now do I put in I put in there that I uploaded the photo?
Yes, who's talking?
Jasmine.
Yes, just type a comment in there that you updated your Zoom profile photo. And, all right. Anybody else having issues with your photo? Again, it might require you to go and log into Zoom Workplace.
Yeah, I'm still having issues. I cannot figure that out.
Okay. So just go to the internet and find Zoom Workplace. Let's see. Workplace app.
I'm sorry, Miss Dennis. Um, do I put new attempt and I type it in there?
Yes. Zoom Workplace app. And you should be able to download it or just sign in. And then when you sign in, you're going to use your school. Let's see, how would you need to do it? I use SSO. You can try SSO maybe. Or you can sign in with your Microsoft, which would be your AD account.
Can I leave the meeting and then sign in or enter the meeting again? I think it might.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Jasmine, make sure you finish going through that confirmation piece. I don't like see that it is your school email. I'm going to take your word for it that it is and go ahead and add those points, but make sure you go through to finish that portion. Data account. This is Jasmine. Account. And date it. Jasmine Amber. Same for you, Holly. Make sure you finish going through the process of confirming that account.
What do we do once we upload the picture?
Who's speaking?
This is Saskia. I just signed in again, and my picture did show up.
I'll just put it in. I'll put it in for
Okay.
you. Edit account received.
I think I might have to log out and come back in for
That's
me.
fine.
Okay.
Sash. Edit account received. Gotta get to, yeah. Gosh. Asia, Jasmine, Bridget. All right. So photos that I have are Brittany, Bridget, Jasmine, Deasia, Sasha, get to Karen, Kia, and all right. So keep working on your photos. Again, you might have to log out, log into like the actual Zoom app to update that photo. All right, now the last thing we're going to do today, but before we get to this educational survival skills PowerPoint, I do want you to check your ANU email. I think they told me that they set up all the accounts. You're looking for an email from Virtual Medical Coaching. If you don't see it in your regular email, it might be in your spam. I need for you to find that email. Let me just make sure.
I have the email, but my link expired to create a new password.
Yes. So, go to forgot.
Okay.
All right. If your link expired, go to forgot. Pretty sure that's what he said do. If you missed a 24-hour window. Oh, go to, yeah, the main web page and then click forgot password. Enter your email address and that should take you to account setup. Jay's good with the photo. Okay. Ashley is good with the photo. Holly is good with the photo. Uh,
Once we've updated the password, is there anything else that you would like us to do?
nope. Once you've updated the password, go ahead and log in for me. All right, let's shake. I have your photo. Uh, Deanna, I'm waiting on your photo. I think I've gotten all the rest of the photos. All right, Bridget, Jasmine, Deja, Brittany, Sashka, Jaya, Holly, Ashley, Zainab, Getu, Lasheka, Tia, Karen, and Amber. All right, so just one photo I'm waiting on. All right, and the next test you all are on, you're looking for that email from VMC, or Virtual Medical Coaching. If you did not go ahead and reset the password, you're going to go to the main webpage, put forgot password, and from there you're going to enter your school email to get it reset.
This is Daisha. How do we get to the main page for the virtual medical coaching?
It's probably in the email, but it's just HTTPS. Just type in virtualmedicalcoaching.com. Let me
Okay.
see. Virtual medical coaching.com. Or Google virtual medical coaching. When you Google virtual medical coaching, it would say something like sign into your account, email, password, and if you don't see that, right underneath it says forgot. Let me see if I can just give you this.
Okay. I made it in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just type this. There should be I just put a link in the chat.
So when I logged in, the only thing that popped up is it says no simulations available right now.
Correct. We gotta download it.
Okay.
So we're gonna I'm gonna log in really quick. All right, when you log in, I don't know, yours might look different from mine, but on the left, it'll say simulations, report, support center, and then it says download. Everyone seeing that?
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna click download, and you'll download it for your type of PC, whether it's Windows or Mac.
Mine says you do not have access to any downloads. Please contact your IT support team.
Yeah, mine says that also.
Mine as well.
Really?
Mine too.
Hmm. Can someone put a screenshot in the window for me? Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can share this. Let me see if I can share this and see if we can do it this way. I'll put this in the chat. Does it give me the link? Let me see. Okay. All right, so if it's not showing you the downloads, what I need for you to do is click Support Center, and you see that technical support for virtual medical coaching. Here's the email, and just email and say that you're not able to, you don't have a link to download the software.
Mine says something different. It says browse frequently asked questions.
You don't have
No,
a
it says
technical
December.
support? Hmm. Here, let me give you the technical support email. All right, it's support at virtualmedicalcoaching.com. All right, that's a support email. But what should be in the download section is a link to download the software for Windows and also a link to download the software for Mac. You have to download the software. And once you download the software, when you get to the simulations piece, let me share my screen. All right, when you get to the simulations piece, it should come up like this. I'm not sure if y'all are seeing my screen. Do you see my screen where it says simulations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you click on the simulations, let me make sure I'm still sharing it. Did it go to another screen that says like skull, upper limb, etc.?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. When you click on the simulations, that is going to be available for you. And I'll just click on torso. Torso will pull up all of the exams that can be done in the torso area. And we usually start with chest, and then it'll give you the option to launch in VR, which you don't have yet because you need to, we have to send your Oculus eventually, and then launch in 2D simulation. So we're going to start off with the 2D simulation. Uh, and do you see that it launched into an X-ray room? Or is it stuck on that other window?
Stuck on the
Be
other one.
stuck on the other window.
Okay, hold on one second. Share. Okay, how about now?
Yeah, we can see
Yeah,
now.
it's cool.
Okay, so it'll launch you into an X-ray room. And of course, there's like, if you're looking at the very bottom of my screen, there's little menus. When you get the Oculus is going to be a lot better because you're not going to have all to go through all of these menus. But the first menu is, of course, what you see for your patient requisition. I'm telling you about why your patient is there and a little bit of information about your patient. The next one, this is our control panel where we set up like the type of exam that we're going to do. So the little people at the top, whatever's highlighted in yellow is the type of exam. So we said that we were interested in chest. So the third man is where the chest would come in. And of course, we would click chest. And whichever exam we're going to do, AP, PA, lateral, or ribs. Those are kind of like your chest procedures. What you see as far as KVP and mass, that is the technique that we use or like the amount of power that we need to actually penetrate the patient. But also for like chest, anything Bucky work, we can use the AEC, which is a little bit of, I'll say technology assist that can help us with the technique. Now, another thing you have to figure out is if that exam is going to be done in the table Bucky, in the upright Bucky, which is all of standing work like chest, and then on the tabletop. So on the very bottom where you see these three little boxes, I've just kind of highlighted them. The first box that I turned blue, that is anything that we're going to put in the table Bucky. So we'll put a cassette in the table Bucky, something like an abdomen. The one in the middle, that's your upright Bucky. So that is where the chest is. And then the one on the far right, that's anything that we do on the tabletop, like hand, elbow, etc. So we put the cassette on top of the table. As you can see, the Bucky work, the first one and the second one, that's where you can use your AEC, which is the piece of automation. But if you are using the AEC, you have to figure out which ionization chambers that you're going to use. So for the chest, it would be left and right chambers. All right, next, typically you're going to wash your hands, so you go through that little simulation. All right, the next one after that is you got to manipulate your tube. So for chest, something that you have to learn is 72 inches, zero rotation, angle is perpendicular, so for us it's going to be a 90 degree angle, and distance is 72 inches. So back it out to 72 inches. Was it Becky? Let's go ahead and rotate it to 90. And it's better if you have a mouse or a touch screen. So if you don't have a mouse already, I would invest in the cheapest one that you can find. If you don't have a touch screen, I wouldn't go buy one, but using the mouse pad is a little bit more difficult than having an actual mouse. All right, angle 90, zero rotation, as we need it to be perpendicular. All right, and you have to practice with this or you're going to get really frustrated. And 72 inches for your chest. It's okay for right now. All right, so now we're going to go to see how the patient is. So we said that this was, I thought I said PHS, but this looks more like a lateral. This is giving me lateral vibes. Where you see the little guy on the right hand side, this right here was telling me that he had on some type of, I hate that I turned it off, because he had on a necklace. And if we don't take it off, of course, that would have been in the image, but I hate that I took it off because I wanted you to be able to see it. All right, this is you looking at the patient. Now again, if you're in an actual room, you won't have all of these different views that you need. So, so we need to bring the cassette up. Don't have mouse with me. I don't have my mouse, so it's kind of hard to like do all the collimation stuff without it, in my opinion, anyways.
Agreed.
Yeah. Not ready to take this because I need to, of course, bring my Bucky up and all that good stuff. But what I do want to show you is that it will take a picture of what you're actually centered on. So as you can see right now, the Bucky, which is this square that's like right underneath his underarms, is way too low. So I'm going to show you the picture that it's going to show you based on where this Bucky is. You would close your door in all x-ray rooms. There is a breathing technique, second inspiration, and we take a picture of it and it will show you the picture. So as you can see, the Bucky is way too low. So the only part that was imaged was this part that's down in the lower abdomen area. So that would tell you, and of course, we wouldn't do this in real life, just practicing like this, but it would tell you need to go back and you need to raise your Bucky and do some other imaging things. All right, so the time is 7:08, so I'm going to put you on a 10-minute break, 7:18, and we will come back and finish out the lecture. All right, but I do need for you to make sure that you email virtual medical coaching to let them know that you don't have the ability to download the software that you need. All right, so 7:18. Yeah, hold on one second. All right. So again, ensure that you make sure you have emailed VMC, just to let them know that you don't have anything available to download for your simulation so that they can get those set up correctly. And then it's going to take a lot of practice. In your announcements, there should be something called it's Bontrager is the book, but Bont Pages, that is going to be where you start. It's going to tell you a little bit about the procedure, why you would do it, what the typical routine is for chest, it's typically PA and lateral, but we have other kinds. Um, the more you practice, the better and faster you'll get. So again, the first window is your patient information while they're there. This one is you selecting, of course, the body part of interest, whether or not it's AEC or not. For chest, it's upright. And of course, we could use the AEC if we wanted to. At the bottom, you have the different little men. This is just giving you, if you were setting your own technique, it would help you with the power. As the patients get larger, the more power you need to actually penetrate their body part. Washing hands, this goes through the simulation. This is your tube. So for anything that's using the Bucky, you got to make sure that these green lights do show up. So that's telling you that you are centered to the Bucky and you're detented correctly. 72 inches as best you can get. It's really touchy. Um, -90 just tells you that it is perpendicular to the patient and we're not rotated at all for the chest. Turning your collimation light on and off there. And then, of course, raising it up or down as you need to. As you can see, when I raised it up, my green lights went off, so that's telling me that it's not detented. So therefore, the image will not be perfect at that point. This next one is for table Bucky work. That's why it's not highlighted, because it won't let you get it wrong in the sense that whenever you select chest, abdomen, etc., it's going to put the patient where it needs it to be. In real life, you have to choose where that patient is going to be. This is allowing you to move the Bucky up and down to the patient's height. We do need to be centered. So as you can see right here, that laser light is in the center of the Bucky. And if you look right above the patient's shoulders on the Bucky itself, you can see a little bit of light above the shoulders. That is what you want for a chest. This is you looking at them kind of from the back, so they need to be all the way up against the Bucky flush. That's what this is. No rotation at all. Their shoulders need to be rolled forward, and then also flush against the Bucky is what that is showing you. And then this is your last view. This is you looking at your patient from the back. Letter marker on the appropriate side. You can use right or left. We typically just like to use left because in the real world, we're going to leave that letter marker there and turn the patient. Unfortunately, in the simulator, it takes you all the way out of the room and you got to start again fresh. But for the real world, after we're done with this particular projection, we just turn the patient to the side, putting their left side up against the Bucky and raising their arms above their shoulders, and then making sure that they're centered. The height should be good because we've already adjusted the Bucky for height, so we're just turning the patient. All right, and if everything looks good, if you feel like it looks good, so this is you moving the light centered to the left or to the right. Of course, we need it centered in the middle of the patient, and then you're ready to take your exposure to see what you get. All right, and that is what we get. If you get to where you're, let's say you cut something off, meaning claustrophrenic angles or the apices, or maybe you had the wrong letter marker, you just go back in and make your adjustments. I'll just make this adjustment right here. So right here, as you can see, the Bucky is going to be way too low. And I'm going to change the letter marker. So this is the right side. I want to change that letter marker. And I was going to show you what, we didn't do that the last time. Show you what changes due to your image. All right, good or bad. All right, this is you looking. As you can see, it looks like he's rotated, which he shouldn't be, like his head is turned to the right. I mean, to the left. You see that you no longer have your green lights, but we're going to take the picture anyway so you can see how that change affects your image. So the first one was a good image. And now this is the resulting image from what we just did. Where is it? All right, we changed the letter marker. Letter marker is good. It is on the appropriate side, but as you can see how now the ribs are elongated because the patient is rotated. I moved the Bucky down, which we weren't supposed to do. So now the apices of the lungs are cut. So again, it just takes a lot of practice in the simulator because you don't have a physical lab. And of course, you are not going to clinic yet. So more practice than we actually will assign you will help you get better in your simulator. All right, now we're going to move on, but until they give you the software to download, you're not going to be able to work in it. So hopefully you have it by next week because we will actually start to work with it next week. All right, so now let's go ahead and wrap up today. The last thing that you will submit in your ICA for me is what we get through from your educational survival skills. It's a pretty easy chapter, in my opinion. Get out of here.
So, like, if they don't email us back or whatever by like Monday, should we just go ahead and try to reach out to the school or what?
No, the school's not going to be able to help. We're not going to be able to help on our side. This has to come from VMC because it's their software.
Okay.
So maybe they're waiting on us to pay. I did just order the accounts last week. So maybe they're waiting on us to pay before they load it, but I'll reach out as well.
Okay.
PowerPoints. All right, so hopefully you are seeing the PowerPoint from the educational survival skills lecture. This And again, this was in my opinion, a pretty easy chapter. Here's your objectives. So talked a little bit about stress, what causes stress, talks a little bit about some of the behaviors, how we might react to stress, and things that we can do to reduce stress or buffer stress. Talked a little bit about survival techniques. So again, in your PowerPoint that you're making this week, these are some of the things that you're addressing. Talked about time management and staying organized. And then also what the benefits of uplifts are and also what they are in terms of hassles. Talked a little bit about our diet and what we should be eating, things that can help us in terms of stress. And then, of course, study techniques that are going to help you better retain the information. and of course, successful test taking strategies. You're going to be in this program for 2 years, so you will need some tests. If you're not good at taking tests, you're going to have to figure out what type of learner you are and things that you can do to assist you as far as not stressing out. You are practicing for 2 years, but when you do actually get to the registry, um, the pressure or the stress is even more heightened because, it's like you only get 3 opportunities to pass. ANU does pay for the first attempt within 30 days. So if you're sitting for it within 30 days, then they will pay for it. But sometimes students aren't ready to sit for their boards at that within the first 30 days. So, but that's when ANU will pay for it. So those are your objectives. All right, so here's your definition for stress. So basically, depending on who you are, what you stress out about, what stressors are for some people are going to be different for others. So really quickly, we'll just take a few or a couple students. Tell me what I've seen in the past, since I've been in education for a while now, some students in this type program, they stress about physics, they stress about math or algebra, which is heavily embedded in physics. They stress about, because in the traditional offerings, students are in school or clinic 5 days a week. Yours is a little bit different based on how we offer it. So sometimes they stress about not having enough time to study versus not having enough time to work or complete their schoolwork. So a little bit of that work-life balance is what they stress about. Some students have children, so they stress about, again, in addition to the clinicals and the schoolwork and maybe having to actually work as an adult learner, they stress about how they're going to fit in, being able to be there for their family or their kids as well. So with that being said, some of them also stress about money. Some of them also stress about transportation or the lack of transportation in traditional programs, depending on what the radius is. Some schools have it up to a 100-mile one-way radius from the school. Some schools even stretch even farther with programs having 150 to 200-mile one-way radiuses. And that's depending on, how many schools they're competing with as far as clinical availability. Some students stress about their teachers and their delivery, because of course we can only teach to the middle, but our learners learn in different ways. Some are very visual, some are good listeners, some are hands-on, and of course, X-ray is a mix of all of those things. And some people have significant events that happen while they're in school. Maybe a family member gets ill or passes away. Maybe they get sick, their children get sick. So there's lots of stressors that students do encounter, and it does affect the student in different ways depending on, how they are able to manage their stress. So are there any other stressors out there that we didn't touch on that you all might have?
I would
So we
say
had,
like the workload.
mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Workload. So some of you may have entered in a mid start and some of you may have entered in a traditional full start. So those that entered in the mid were able to kind of take a couple classes prior to like the actual start. So instead of having, let's say, 5 classes, they might now only have 2 classes where everyone else maybe has 4 or 5 classes. So with that being said, yes, the workload. In your traditional programs, though, the workload is probably what you're seeing if you are just a full start where you have your X-ray class, which is this 101 class, plus maybe 2 to 3 more what we call general education classes. So yes, the workload is definitely something that students stress about. Any other stressors out there? Okay. All right, so again, this is our book definition of what stress is, something that's produced by events that are perceived as demands on time, energy, or resources, with the threat that not enough time or not enough energy or not enough resources will be available to fulfill that obligation. So again, stress can cause emotional or psychologic changes in the body. And if we have prolonged stress over time, it can eventually potentially result in physical or emotional illness for the person that is stressed out. So at some point in life, I feel like we all get stressed. It's just a matter of how we deal with that stress. All right, so the first thing that might occur when we're dealing with stress, we have what we call the fight or flight response. So that's one way that our body kind of deals with stress. So are we going to stay and fight it out, or are we going to fly, or we're going to run away from whatever that stressor is? Um, Typically, I would show like a little funny, it's not even a funny, it's a cartoonish like video where you have like a caveman. He encounters, let's say, a lion. The lion is running after him. He has a club, so he can decide whether or not he's going to stay and fight off the lion or whether he's going to run away. Now, your book also gives you an example of stress, or something that causes stress. In that example, if I'm remembering it correctly, it was you getting a phone call at 2 a.m. in the morning. So it wakes you out of your sleep. All right, and you jump out of bed and you're thinking, okay, 2 a.m. in the morning, what possibly could happen? Especially if you're not expecting the phone call. You're not, let's say, in a medical setting or on a job where you're on call. So, in most cases, if people are getting a phone call at 2 a.m. in the morning and they're not expecting it, a lot of times our minds jump to, okay, something must be wrong. It must be bad news. But the book case ends up that it's a wrong, they dialed the wrong number. So it was the person dialed the wrong number, and of course you reacted um thinking that it was bad news, but it ended up being a wrong number per the book. All right, so again, the response that can occur, responses that we might have in terms of fight or flight, that have these physiological changes of increased metabolism of fat, sugars for energy. Of course, we might all want that, but because it would help with weight loss in some instances. Release of hormones, increased blood flow and cardiac output, meaning a stressor happens and your heart starts beating faster. That means that you have increased blood flow and cardiac output. And of course, your central nervous system is also stimulated. So with students in the past, I've seen this happens when they've missed some sort of deadline. um, they might have a poor test result and they thought that they studied really well, but unfortunately the test result didn't reflect what they felt they studied. They might be overcommitted, meaning they need to work in order to live, pay their bills, etc. They have to go to school, they have clinicals, they have children or, spouses, etc., that they're obligated to. Some students have the inability to set personal limits. So, one thing that I would tell my x-ray students in the past is for the next 2 years, you need to tell your friends, hey, I have to study. I'm not going to be able to hang out, go to the club. If you're not able to set those boundaries or those personal limits, people are going to expect you to continue to do whatever it is that you did for them, not taking into account that you have an increased workload for yourself in terms of school. Loss of friendships also happen in school when students come to x-ray school and they're not able to fulfill those will not fulfill those obligations. When they're able to set those personal limits, their friends look at it as, okay, now you're not giving me the time that I feel that I need. And then some students also, when they're in school, they have a loss of self-esteem based on sometimes the grades. They feel like, okay, am I in over my head? Is x-ray school for me? I didn't think it was going to be, this hard. So again, fight or flight response can kick in, and you have to decide whether you're going to stay and fight it out, stay the course, or if you're going to flight, meaning give up and run the other direction. All right, stress in your education. Again, something that we talked about, something that you see a lot in X-ray school. When you take on this additional responsibility, you're learning new things. So this is a new technology. So I pulled up the simulator for you. Most students are in a physical lab, but you're going to be in a simulator. So with that being said, you're not going to have that instructor there to hold your hand and walk you through all the time like physical students are in the physical lab. So that's a new piece of technology that not only do you have to practice with, but also you might have to do additional research as well to see what best works for you from other students that might be using this technology. Clinical experiences, while you don't have them right now, when you do get them, you're going to be, unfortunately, not going from a lab to a clinic. You're going to be going from a simulator to a clinic. So you might have reduced hands-on experience with the equipment and also with the patients in terms of what do you call those things? Positioning points, tactile experience, meaning being able to physically touch them and touch the equipment. You're going to have reduced interactions with patients. So if you are not already in the healthcare field where you deal with patients and their family members every day and also other healthcare professionals, or if you're not in, let's say, customer service where you at least get to talk to people, that might be a huge learning curve because you're going to be missing some of the soft skills that you need out there in the field. All right, performing in a high stress environment, depending on the type of clinical facility you're placed at, some are very fast paced and some are slower. And those that are very fast paced, you got to realize that as a student, we're still providing a service. These are still businesses. They need to make money and they have to keep up with the schedule. So in some instances, when you think that you're going to, learn and practice on a patient, the tech may push you out of the way because they have to stick to a schedule, and that can be very stressful for a student as well. All right, stressful events also come from your family members and your friends that want you to hang out and do the things that you were doing for them, and then also employers and coworkers. So some of you that are working, I think I've already seen some students, they got called in for additional hours, or their employer wasn't flexing around their school schedule. So those do add additional stress when you're in this type of environment. All right, strategies to deal with stress. So your self-image is definitely going to be important. So you have to figure out strategies that are going to help you deal with whatever is causing the stress. So you have to understand the environment around you, what is adding to your stress. Of course, school is one of them. Needing to study, needing to do your homework. And then for some of us that have family members and or children or significant others and also work, that's going to add to your stress. You have to learn how to lessen that stressor or remove it altogether if you can, and adapt strategies that are positive. If you think that the outcome is going to be negative, in most cases, that outcome might be negative. So you have to always think positive. And you have to learn how to set those boundaries and say no. If you're always that yes man, you may quickly be overwhelmed when you have these different tasks coming at you. And you have to learn how to figure out those tasks that, someone else can do, that you have to be able to say no. Another thing that your book talks about in terms of strategies to deal with stress, it talks about avoiding caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine. I know that may be difficult for some of us. For me, caffeine, yes. But alcohol, they say limit caffeine, alcohol, and also nicotine. Another thing that your book talked about was getting involved with physical activity, getting more sleep, trying some relaxation techniques if you can, talking to others. In your traditional environment, you have a bunch of students, you're in class every day or clinic every day, and you're meeting up with each other. So, you're almost like a family for 2 years, and it does continue after school, that you've built this family. But most students are able to talk to each other to figure out, what's stressing them out. And some students are able to actually help each other out if they find a way that's better for them. So again, learn how to take control and also learn how to manage your stress and also the time you have available. You only have 24 hours in a day. Some of it is already taken up by work. Some of it's already taken up by school. Some of it's taken up by commute time. So you have to find a way to monopolize on all of the idle moments. For instance, you have your ebook, it reads to you on your commute. Maybe you can get your book to read to you. Any other idle moments might like lunchtime. Some of your instructors may not care if you write your assignments out. So if wherever you are doesn't mind that you have technology with you, you can write on paper some of those assignments, or you can print out some of the book pages so that you can write on paper if your job doesn't like for you to have technology. So again, figure out some type of strategy that is going to help you lessen the stress. Lessen your stress level. All right, signs of stress. So of course, the signs of stress, they're going to vary from person to person. Some people, when they get stressed out, they might get tired or have low energy levels. Some may have headaches. For me, that's a big one. Um, might get migraine headaches. For some, they may have upset stomach, diarrhea, nausea. I see that a lot in sports where athletes get kind of stressed out. I also see it in X-ray school as well before a big test or before a big checkoff in lab. The student needs to go to the bathroom. So that is a sign of stress. Aches, pains, and muscle tension. That's another big one for some students and people in general when they get stressed out. Some people even have chest pain, believe it or not. They think they might be having a heart attack. But it is actually a sign of stress. Some people get sick suddenly or frequently when they don't figure out how to deal with the stress. And then some people kind of lose their drive to do things. When they get stressed out, they just give up altogether on everything. And some people also have hair loss. So your book identifies several of them. So you have to figure out what your signs of stress are. As it says right here, ulcers, colds, meaning you get sick, irritable, high cholesterol, headaches, poor sleeping patterns. Um, if you have a family that's able to listen to you and help you out, having a support system is great when you're in this type of program. They might notice that your emotions are noticeably altered, meaning you are irritable or you don't want to be bothered. And then again, like we said, stressors are going to differ from person to person. So you have to figure out what your stressor is, what sign is presenting so that you can kind of manage that stress. All right, here's your book definition for stressors. A stressor is any event that adds stress to your life. Again, unique to each individual, different for each person, best dealt with by using strategies called buffers. And also, you have to be able to recognize what the stressors are and whether or not they're out of your control. So, your book talked about two broad categories of stressors. Those were your physical or physiological stressors or your psychological type stressors. So a physical stressor might be an injury, pain, some type of chronic illness. It could be something like heat or cold. Some people don't like to be hot. Some people don't like to be cold. So things that put stress on your body is what we would call a physical or physiological stressor. And then you also have a psychological stressor. So psychological stressors could be some type of event or situation. So for us, it might be a test, it might be a midterm, a final, or it might be homework in general and meeting those deadlines. Um, it might be a comment that someone makes, or it might be a comment that your instructor makes. That might be a psychological stressor. Anything that you typically might interpret as negative or threatening to you. Another psychological stressor for some students that I see is their car breaks down. They have a tough commute in and out of the city. Some students, maybe they thought they had a family care plan together, but their babysitter called off or their babysitter got sick. So that would be a type of psychological stressor. All right, so strategies to help you deal with stress. So first you want to know what the difference is between a stressor and a hassle. So a stressor versus a hassle. In my opinion, a stressor might be a death in the family, a divorce, a serious illness that you or a family member has, or a bankruptcy. Those are big things. Whereas a hassle might be something like a weight problem, misplacing something or losing something that you thought you put it in a place that would be easy to find, but now you can't find it. Your daily commute, not getting enough sleep, losing or gaining weight. These are hassles versus your bigger stressors. So you have to figure out what a hassle is and what an actual stressor is, and you can develop some type of intervention. All right, so one of the things that your book talked about is uplifts. So basically an activity that's going to uplift you for the moment. So some of the uplifts that your book talked about was planning some type of positive activity. So something that's going to make you happy. So some people might want to just relax or take a nap, whereas some people might want to go for a jog. Some people might want to, let's say after a big test, they did well, or maybe they didn't do well. They're going to plan an uplift, like maybe going to the movies or taking, maybe an hour out of that week to hang out with a family member or something like that. So these are some ways that you can deal with stress. All right. Another way that we can deal with stress, or that the book talks about that you can deal with stress, is um, because stress can be contagious. And when you are stressed out based on some type of fear or frustration, you might have what we call out of control language. All right, like, I can't do this. Oh, this is not for me. It's too hard. So instead of having that out of control negative language, replace it with some type of in control positive language. So something that students might, and it was briefly mentioned here, you have a lot of homework, you have a lot of demands for your time. So instead of saying, oh, this is too much, this is not fair, you can, and I can't do it, you put in something positive like, I can do this. The way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to schedule time each day to knock out X amount of tasks. So again, you want to replace that out of control language with something that you can control, that's going to assist you with, setting the stage to get the things done versus giving up. All right, the worry process, something that at some point in life that we all might do. You have to realize that worrying about something that you can't control is not going to be good for you. And you have to figure out practices that you can put into place that might lessen the worry, or things that you're doing that might contribute to worry. So a lot of times students are worrying about, or what I see students worry about, especially like in a physical brick and mortar school, they're worried about what Jane got on their test versus what they got on their test. So what Jane got on her test, you can't do anything about it. You can only worry about what you got on your test and what you can do the next time. Changes that you can make for yourself that maybe help you get a better grade the next time. So worrying about things that are out of your control, they are just robbing you of energy. So again, only focus on things that are in your control. And as you can see, procrastination, which a lot of us do sometimes, it can increase or contribute to the worry because you didn't put things into practice that could have helped you not procrastinate. So, what I think I saw in some of your discussions was using a schedule. Now, all of your courses have a calendar, it tells you what is due if your instructors have the due dates set. It gives you a to-do list for each week. So you can use that to-do list and set your additional schedule. You can use paper and pen, or you can use your phone, whether it's Android or whether it's Apple, and you can set daily reminders or alarms to go off to remind you of things that you need to do that day. All right, so that you're not procrastinating and waiting to the last minute. All right, worry survival techniques. So these are some of the things that your book said that you can, or that your book recommended. So avoid procrastination. We just talked about it. Set yourself a schedule. Ask yourself things such as, am I making a mountain out of a molehill? If I'm making something big that's not really big, um, is it is it my concern or is it not my concern? So again, worrying about what Jane made on her test versus worrying about what you made on your test and things that you can do the next time to potentially have a better outcome. So these are some of the worry survival techniques that your book talked about. All right, time as a stressor. So we already know that we only have 24 hours in the day. So we have little to no control over that amount of time. It's said it's only going to be 24 hours. So we have to practice time management, which I saw a lot of students said they were going to make a schedule and try to avoid procrastination. You want to avoid being indecisive. So, whenever you make that schedule, you want to make sure you stick to that schedule because sticking to it and getting that routine is going to help you get things done. Set a realistic timeline. So, you can't say, oh, I'm going to do all my work on day one. That's probably not going to be realistic. So, make sure you just spread the amount of work that you need per class out over the 6 to 7 days that you have to get it done. All right, you have a lot of, I'll say, technology at your fingertips. So if you use it appropriately, you can, of course, manage your time better, which will help you avoid being stressed out about time and it'll help you avoid procrastination as well. All right, self-management. All right, you all know yourself. So if you know that you are a procrastinator, you have to figure out how you're going to manage that. So again, prioritize your responsibilities and set goals for the week or for the day based on what you need to get done for the week. Prioritize those activities. So you might want to, in my opinion, go ahead and try to get those things that are heavy. For instance, you had maybe a PowerPoint presentation. For me, I probably would have prioritized that towards the beginning of the week. So at the end of the week, I can do the simple things like my terms and my end of chapter questions. And of course, I will use the majority of the week to study so that I can knock out my quiz towards the end of the week. And of course, you have the discussion. The quicker you can post the first discussion, of course, we want it done by Wednesday. It gives you that much more time to reply to two of your peers. Exercise is effective at reducing stress if you have time, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes, taking a quick lap around the block or around your neighborhood, that can help reduce stress. Controlled socializing, don't overdo it. Social media plus face-to-face socializing, make sure that you manage that. And of course, you have to be able to balance work, school, and also play, meaning time for your family members and also time for your peers. All right. Your book did talk about a little bit about what you should have on your plate in terms of your balanced meal. So balanced meal is, and also exercise can help with reducing stress. Also, the meditation, massage, and biofeedback is also available to assist with stress. You just, of course, have to figure out what's going to work for you. So, in terms of eating, we talked about, or your book talked about, 3 balanced meals. Although fast food is at our fingertips, it's easier said than done to, not run to the fast food place, especially when you have a lot on your plate. But if you can, manage to get those 3 balanced meals in, that can help reduce stress. Exercise 30 minutes, 3 to 5 times per week, but even if it's 10 to 15 minutes, that's better than nothing at all. Those are some of the recommendations. Some recommendation was also to take a step back and visualize yourself somewhere where you want to be. You can't be at the beach. Maybe you can visualize yourself at the beach and also meditate. So empty your thoughts out and meditate on something positive for the moment. Those were some of the things. Many vacations in your head, that visualizing yourself somewhere else where you want to be. And then, of course, if you have available, you want to use all resources that you can, whether that's tutors, whether that's your counselor, Miss Bobby. She's a resource, your academic advisor, Miss Bobby, or whether it's your instructor, your peers, and also, financial aid might be a resource for some people. All right, so there were a few more things that I didn't get to. So one was study skill techniques. So it basically gave you a chart in your book, and it talked about how much information is lost once you actually, let's say, hear this lecture. So it recommended that you continue to look over those things to reinforce them. If you don't start to reinforce it, you lose a lot of that information over 24 hours. So again, you have to continue to reinforced by continuing to study the information. And of course, even though it works for some people, you want to try and avoid cramming at the last minute because it does increase your anxiety. All right, so last thing was test taking skills, figure out what works for you. And then the conclusion was basically remember that you're about to become a member of, and this is probably more so bias, a member of one of the greatest professions in medicine, which is medical imaging. Take time to consider that this is a great opportunity for you, especially in the format that you're getting it in, being virtual. And of course, figure out some solid strategies to help you handle your stress, to help you study better, and also to demonstrate the accomplishing of learning and retaining the knowledge that you are gaining. All right, so I'm sorry, but I do have to run. So make sure again that you have uploaded those 3 things. So the final document is the notes that we have here. You have your Zoom profile picture uploaded. I already have the names for those. I think everyone got those done. And then also making sure that you've set up the Meta account and emailing virtual medical coaching. So make sure that you reset the password so that you have access. So our next step is just going to be to download the software. So if you need anything from me, just go ahead and email me because I do have to run to this next class. All right, it was a pleasure.
Have a good weekend.
All right, you too.
Have a good week.